Hey fam, how's it going? I just wanted to chime in today to talk about something that's actually been bothering me a lot. It was in a previous um, video that I did, but I want to get a little bit more detailed about how much it's been really disturbing me, how our country is functioning right now. I would definitely say in the past few years, especially, we have grown more divided. But I want to get a little bit more specific on all of that. I find it very hypocritical, actually, because I'm seeing grown adults become bullies toward each other and, ridiculing each other, mocking each other, calling each other names. Um, and not accepting the fact that differences are okay and that we actually all have things in common. More importantly, I see that great divide between our political parties, and it is just absolutely not the way it should be going. Uh, I believe that our political parties, for a long time, have been pretty divided, but I feel like it's been escalated and encouraged in the past few years, and it's very upsetting to see. Very upsetting, and it gets me to the point sometime that it angers me, and I don't want to feel anger. That's the last thing I want to feel is anger, because I'm seeing both parties as being just as antagonizing. And it's not where we need to be right now. We need to be actually being united and coming together. And the one hypocrisy in all of this to me is that, especially over the past decade, we've had to be dealing with the anti-bullying for children and in schools. And so it's been a huge campaign of many who have made these efforts to create these anti-bullying campaigns and to show support for children who might feel like they're being bullied, and to have safe places for them and to feel accepted, and to make sure that bullying is just not happening to our children and in our schools. Yet here are these grown adults doing the same thing that we are trying to fight against with our children. And it doesn't make sense to me one bit. And I think the most upsetting part is I'm seeing people I care about, people that I love and are in my life, doing this. And they're people that I would never expect to be doing this either. And I think that's what bothers me the most. I don't think it's necessarily just strangers, but it's people that are in my life that I know them better than to lash out at an opposing party. Because, for one, Democrats and Republicans both have wonderful values. They are meant to bring balance to our government in making decisions. That's why it was created. Our founders actually brought on a Republican and a Democrat to balance us out with views and ideas, to be able to bring compromise instead of being off balance. But that's where we're at right now, is we are completely off kilter with this. The Democrats are bad, the Republicans are bad, and that's not right, because we're putting people in a box, we're putting ourselves into a box, and it's just creating more and more division. It is just not right. It is absolutely frustrating. So we seriously need to grow up. We need to get over ourselves. We need to also learn how to decipher what information is being fed to us through the media that is completely biased, because a lot of times we want to be biased. I mean, it is a natural instinct for us to be more tribal and more biased. We latch on to a tribe, so to speak, a group of people who we tend to agree with or get along with, and have commonalities. However, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be respecting other people's tribes, other people's views, right? So we need to take a step back and stop letting the media dictate how we're supposed to feel about a person or a group that we may disagree with. Like it is just tearing us apart and knocking down our morality. So we need to take a step back. We need to actually educate ourselves on media literacy, which means reading between the lines, understanding what's fact and what's not, and using multiple sources for information and not just one source, because that is what's putting us in this biased box and creating this animosity toward each other. So I am starting a podcast here. It's going to be up in the next couple of weeks by the end of the month here, and the first episode is going to talk about media literacy and research and why it's so important for us to be following that, so that when we do start to talk about other topics, when we start to talk about topics that could be possibly controversial or sensitive to some, that we're taking a step back and putting on our objective goggles, so to speak, so that we're not filtering too much. We don't want to over filter the information that we receive. The more information, the better. People tend to feel overwhelmed maybe by all of the different views and sources and opinions and whatnot that are out there. But if you start to learn how to dig deeper and look for the correct information and the correct sources, it makes a world of a difference, and it actually is fairly easy, and it's not as time consuming as you may think. So I really want to, in this podcast, show you how to dig deeper without it letting consume too much time, and to narrow down any confusion that you have, and to open your mind to other views or things that you might have not considered before. Because a lot of the information that's given to us in media is very superficial. And you'll notice once you start to understand media literacy that there are a lot of gaps and holes in the information that we receive in just your regular news stories and news articles. So you have to learn how to pick up those gaps and holes and try to get those questions answered elsewhere. So please do your part. Please take a step back. Please take a deep breath. We're all human. We all share this planet, right? And if we keep this up, we are not going to have a planet left to live on. Yes, I am talking about climate change, because if we keep, I know it sounds interesting that I'm tying climate change into this, but the more we pick at each other, the less we are going to do our part to work together to take care of our planet, right? And this is our home. I don't even want to think about having to try to find another home. No, we need to be taking care of the home that we're on right now. And if we keep this up, these attitudes of confrontation and belittlement and division, it's just going to tear us apart, and it's not going to help us take care of the things that are actually the most important, which right now we do need to be focusing on our climate. We need to be focusing on Mother Earth, and everything else can actually come into line. And if you don't think that makes sense, tune into my podcast and you'll start to see where the lines connect. You'll start to see all of this make sense and come together. You'll see the bigger picture. And that's the whole point of this podcast. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this information with you and having you be a part of this growth with me, because I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, but I care enough to not just sit here and, even though I'm a very holistic person and I definitely do my part as far as like sending out the good vibes and trying to be, displaying unity and meditation and things like that, there's another step to this, and that's educating people, and that's doing my part. My moral duty is to uphold this statute of looking at the big picture and taking a step back and digging deeper and understanding things at a deeper level instead of just being riding on the superficial level of the information that I receive, and then passing that information on to you and teaching you how to be more media literate, taking a step back, looking into things more, being more objective. And while our opinions are okay, we need to make sure that these opinions hold some substance. Can you back yourself up with your opinion, with information, with solid evidence, with facts? That's important right now because there's not much of that out there right now. So let's stop being so one-sided. Let's stop bullying. This is ridiculous. We have got to stop this. We need to level up here, guys, and start to produce more unity and respect for other people who we don't share the same views. Simple as that. So thank you for listening to me vent today. I really hope you delve into the podcast. It's called Sage Up, and it will be on various platforms, including Spotify and iTunes and so on and so forth. So you can look up Sage Up Podcast on Facebook and Instagram and follow me, and it will be popping up very soon. So I'm really excited to share this for you. But in the meantime, again, do your part, slow down, take a deep breath, and find a way to expand your horizons when it comes to controversial things. And let's try to learn how to work together on this planet. All right, you're my fam. We're all fam. We have to remember that. Thanks.